Okay, so this is Life with Jeremy, and he's in his mid 30s. He's having so much struggle trying to find a job. He's said he's sent out 1,500 plus applications, and that's an insane amount. So let's get right to it.
However, ultimately, all right, today I want to film more of a raw and real video. I'm not going to try to make this video super cute and organized. I just want to go over how I have been job hunting for 10 and a half months. I still don't have a full time job, and I am struggling pretty bad. Not just with finding a job, but also mentally and emotionally. So let me
Yeah.
go into first my layoff story. I got laid off in July of 2023. I work in technology as a product manager, and I remember seeing a calendar invite on my computer saying like, "Hey, quick sync with the chief product officer." At that point in time, I knew that I was going to get laid off. A lot of people also got laid off, so it was a layoff round. So overall, I would say my honest read on the situation is: was it performance related? I would say no, because there are a lot of people that got laid off. I would say if I were a superstar, amazing unicorn product manager, would I have not gotten laid off? It's possible, but that's really just kind of neither here nor there.
It's crazy though. I left my job in 2023 of July last year as well. So yeah, I mean, like the biotechnology, at least with my field, was the one that was getting hit so hard in 2023, and it's been now almost no, it's already gonna about to be 1 year, and there are still people out there like my folks at my last job who are still looking for jobs within that field. That's crazy.
Anyways, after that happened, I went to Brazil for like a month or for a few weeks, and I just wanted to clear my head. Then I went into the job hunting phase. I focused on cold applications, applying for jobs myself. I also hired a VA to apply for jobs on my behalf. This was my friend's basically career service. He was doing something as a proof of concept to test out whether or not he could sell this as a service. So overall, I was sending out applications. The VA was sending out applications. I also used AI auto appliers because I was really curious about these new job application tools. And overall, I got some interviews. However, things were really up and down, and ultimately things didn't really pan out. So then I focused on just like cutting everything out and just focusing on applying for jobs myself. I got some interviews, and a few
Yeah.
times I actually got to final rounds. And ultimately things did not work out. So then I went on to the next round of my job hunt strategy, which is to really just focus on networking. And that's kind of been what I've been focused on the past month or so. So here are the results of what I tried when it comes to getting interviews and ultimately a job.
Oh shoot. Conversion rate. I'm just reading this part here. Okay.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
different stats I have, but basically when I apply for jobs, I have around a 5% application to interview rate. So basically, if I apply to 100 jobs myself, I'll get 5 interviews. The VA applied to around 1,300 jobs, and the application to interview rate was 0.45%. If you see my eye.
Yeah. I mean, like July, I would say like my experience was from July to um August, September. I took a break for some time, and then like starting around September-ish, October, I that's when I started looking, and I could not get anything. It's crazy. Crazy. I could not get any interviews until like starting, what was it, February of this year, and then I finally landed a temp job in April, and then got a regular position in May, which was last month. So yeah, I mean, I guess I should say I lucked out when it comes to like getting a decent job, but I do feel how painful it is for so many people, especially with degrees though, and especially if you're like, you're in your 30s or anywhere in your middle age. That is freaking rough. Okay, I think
Eyes
it's
moving.
still
I'm looking at
loading.
the
Yeah.
computer screen. For networking referrals, back in the day, before this crazy job market in tech, I would always get an interview if I got referred. This dropped down to 20%. So if I got a referral, basically 20% of the time I'll actually get an interview. So that was interesting. If a recruiter reaches out to me, there's an 80% chance that I'm actually going to get an interview. This is not surprising because oftentimes when a recruiter reaches out, they want to set up a call. So that's not really surprising. And there's a 40% chance that when a outside recruiter, so basically a recruiter that's just basically sourcing candidates for different companies, when they actually reach out to me, there's a 40% chance that I actually might get an interview. So this is basically a third party recruiter. Obviously, based on these stats, it's very clear that the most superior and effective application strategy for me should be focused on networking and referrals. This is pretty obvious.
Yeah. I
However, I do
mean,
want to focus on more of the horror stories.
I'm all right. Before we go on to that part, Yeah, it's just a lot of flipping around with your resumes left to right. I mean, I had to flip my resume like multiple times. Even had to like hire a resume builders to be able to help me out. So but like during those times, I was either helping out with an old coworker, um just do some simple tasks, but it was not related to his work or what. It was just like help him with deliveries, fixing things, and that's that, just to get some cash here and there while I was collecting unemployment money. So yeah, yeah, and even he was like he couldn't get me anything. So that's just that. But I did appreciate him for helping me out. But and not to mention, I lucked out selling a good chunk of company stocks money. Like tens of thousands of dollars worth. So that really saved me. So it's a game of luck, though. It's really a game of luck. I mean, if I didn't have any of those things, I would really be panicking. I would really be panicking. I mean, when it got to this year, I was like, man, I need to find something, you know. And at the same time, I was also doing you know, just reaction videos. That's why you saw a little more reaction videos that often. But now I don't really do much of it because I've just been busy with work. But yeah,
I have never been in such a bad job market in my life.
yeah,
Admittedly, I'm only 35, but really, this has been
yeah.
the most difficult job market in technology I've ever been a part of. In the past, when I was looking for a job, within a month or
I mean, okay, let me
two, I would get
finish
a
that.
job offer. I may not take the job offer. However, I would get a job offer.
Yeah.
It's already been 10 and a half months. And even though I've gotten two job offers, they've fallen through. And let me explain why. The first job in the company, honestly, I just want to put them on blast because they fucking suck. Basically, I went through all the interview rounds, pretty normal, nothing like crazy, and I felt like I was going to get an offer, but then they completely ghosted me. So I finished all the rounds. I thought it went well. I never got any feedback from them. So around 1 to 2 months later, they actually just sent the stock rejection notice, and I was just like, "Why the hell will you send me this? At this point in
What
time,
the
you might as well
hell?
just not contact me." Funny thing is, after sending that rejection notice, like 2 to 3 weeks later, they reached back out to me. The head of technology reaches back out to me saying like, "Hey, you were our second option. The other person didn't work out. Are you still open to a conversation and getting offers?" I'm like, "Sure, I'm happy to talk about it, but I have some concerns." So I end up having a call with the head of technology. Then I have a call with a product team member, and the product team member kind of works to assuage my fears and concerns. And he's like, "Hey, if you really want to offer, I'm more than happy to send you the offer." I was like, "Yeah, I would love to see an offer in writing." And what ends up happening is this person ghosts me.
Oh
So this company
man.
basically ghosted me after I went through final rounds. They reached back out to me saying they want to give me an offer. They say they're going to give me an offer, and they ghost me again.
Oh
The
wow.
sad thing about all this actually is the person that I spoke to at the end, the
That's
product
the
team member,
sh.
the reason why I got this interview with this company in the first place is because I networked with this product person. So I actually thought him and I were at least cool, or at least we would have common courtesy with each other. But for him to also basically ghost me,
Ghosty. Oh
that wasn't
my
a good feeling. It
god.
really made me feel like they just didn't really value my efforts, or they just
Uh
didn't care. And ultimately, is that a company I would want to work for? Absolutely not. But it's still
it's just like dating, man. It's just like the job market, especially biotechnology, is like, well, at least for me, it's like it's just like the dating market.
The second horror story is it's not so much a horror story actually. It was a job offer I was about to get. I went through all the interview rounds. It went pretty smoothly. The team liked me. The hiring manager really wanted to get me an offer as soon as possible because he knew I was interviewing with other companies and was in final rounds. And I get this text message from him. He's like, "Hey, do you have time to chat?" And this was a Friday, right? Because I was so confident I was going to get a job offer. I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm busy. I'm hiking right now. Like, let's chat on Monday." Obviously, I'm saying this very casually. I was obviously professional. But on Monday, when I talked to him, he tells me that the executives decided to put the role on hold. So I went from getting an offer or potentially getting an offer to basically like, "Hey, this role no longer exists." So that was not a good feeling because that was around 5 months of the job hunt. So I always felt like I would get a job within 6 months. The other horror story is I went through final rounds with another company. They were very responsive initially, but after going through final rounds and saying that they would get back to me, they basically ghosted me. So I never heard back from them. I did reach out to them and they said like, "Hey, we'll get back to you," but then ultimately I never heard back. So overall, it's just been a really, really bad experience. It's been
It's
very, very
it's
demoralizing. There have been
that's
multiple
that's
times I thought I was going to get an
that is
offer.
very demoral. Yeah, it is downright demoralizing, and it's like, I'm sorry, this man did not. Again, luck mainly plays a factor in this one. You can flip around your resume. You can go to a a, a job um a a job advisor or what, but you can't, like, the fact that he still could not get a job. I mean, he went through all those interview rounds and still couldn't get anywhere. I mean, like what he said, it used to be back in the 2010s era that well, at least for me, like you would apply for a job and then you'll get one like pretty quickly. It's just mainly one round. Now it's like jobs are pretty much two rounds. Even temp jobs are getting like that. So at least it will be like two, maybe three rounds ish before, which is like absolutely crazy. And they're not even managerial roles. It's just like regular, like just the like I said, like regular temp job positions, or I don't know. It's gotten to that point where it's ridiculous. And add onto the fact that he's 35 years old. He's my age, and you don't want to find yourself falling behind financially at that age because yeah, I mean of course 35 is still kind of young, but it's not, but it's like uh-oh, the clock is ticking, I better get a hustle on, you know.
and then something happens. Another case is me going through final rounds with TikTok. Overall, the communication with TikTok was really fast and smooth. It seems like they really wanted to get me through the interview rounds, and I felt like I was moving towards the offer. However, ultimately, after the final round, they said like, "Hey, actually, I would want you to meet the stakeholder." So the stakeholder is based in China. They try to set up a call. There's a little bit of scheduling difficulties, which is understandable. But as we try to reschedule, like the communication with the HR person became less and less and less and less. You know that feeling when you just feel like you're being ghosted slowly or being like let off the hook very slowly? It was basically like that.
Oh
These are just
my
a few stories in
god.
my experience. Okay, so how am I really feeling? Number one, I have really started to doubt my capability as a product manager. And I know this is very, very common, by the way. I'm not saying like, oh, no one's ever experienced this. Of course, everyone experiences this. If you've been on the job hunt for 10 and a half months and you don't have
It's
an
been
offer,
going like that with
any
project
normal sane person
manager
is going to
roles
doubt their
too.
capability. So I know it's not necessarily me. It's also just primarily the market giving me this feedback, making me feel this way. But do I still feel like I'm not that good of a product manager? The answer is yes. The second emotional thing that I've been feeling a lot, or not a lot, but here and there, is really just jealousy of those with jobs because they don't really understand how nightmarish the tech job market is. I'm
Yeah.
also just jealous of
Oh
how, number
yeah.
one, they're making money, but number two, how they're able to maintain or advance their career. So I feel like I'm being left behind, and it's not fair for me to kind of put that pressure on myself, but I do feel that, and I'm just being really real here. The
Yeah.
third thing that I feel is I wonder
It
if I should.
and again, it's demoralizing. And I know he didn't touch on this, but again, the age thing, like when you're in your mid 30s, you're supposed to be like in a in a fairly good spot, with your life. I'm not saying you have to be extravagant, but at least like, get a good part of your life in order. But if you're going through your savings, like, your savings is dwindling, and then suddenly your unemployment runs out, that's when shit really hits the fan. It's tough.
Should just switch out of technology completely. Tech does go through different cycles. There's booms and busts. Like there was like what the 2008 crisis. There was also the 2001 .com bust, etc. But this whole
Yeah,
experience is
those
making me
were the
think like,
hard
dude, I just don't
times.
want to deal with this industry. Like it's just exhausting. So I'm also just kind of considering, maybe not seriously, but I have thought about switching out of technology. The positive thing that's come out of this is making me really audit what do I want in a career? What do I find fulfilling? Is a tech career actually going to be fulfilling me? Is a product career in technology going to be fulfilling for me? So a lot of questions have been swirling in my head. But I gotta just say, like, just to conclude everything, 10 and a half months, thousands of job applications later,
Yeah,
trying everything from VAs, AI auto appliers, cold applications, networking, having recruiters reach out to me. I'm really at a
and
point where
just
emotionally
ghosting
I'm
your
done.
ass.
I don't mean
That's
with
the
life, but just like with
shitty
job
part.
hunting. And I just want to film this video because if you're going through it, if you've been hunting for a while, if you feel like you can't get a job to save your life,
I
I am right there with you. By the way, I just do want to give a shout out. If you know of anyone that's hiring for a senior product manager or a product manager that has a background in B2B SaaS, marketing technology, e-commerce and affiliate, and content management, please send them my way. I'm at a point where I'm just throwing this out to the world because you never know what might happen.
yeah, that's. I mean, he made this not too long ago. This was 8 days ago. That is just it's very frustrating. It is very frustrating trying to get your job applications out, and then you're hearing nothing. You know, like again, for myself, I started around like October. I did not like. I was shocked, like, wow, I didn't get any job offers or what, compared to when like I'm struggling even harder than when I got out of college. So But I ended up having to flip my resume out around, and then I started to get like one interview here and there, maybe like last what was it last week of January, and then February started the build. February and March was when it started to build up, and then I started like working in May. So I mean, not May, April, excuse me. Yeah. So again, I lucked out on that part, but that's a bitch to go through though. That really is a bitch to go through. I don't yeah, and like I said, um there's folks that I used to work with in my last job of 6 years, from 2017 to 2023. Like they're still looking, despite the experience they have. 90% of the jobs I ever scored was through networking without powerful friend or family connections. A college, yeah, this is the black pill yeah, it's the black pill of the job market. That's it's like dating. It's terrible. My best friend, it took him 3+ years. I mean, some people ended up having to work in like lower paying, like I'm talking about like fast food department store jobs. It's like you gotta end up taking that. I mean, it's demoralizing. It feels demeaning, but it's you got to do what you got to do. That's a tough thing to do, and especially if you're an older person. I mean, again, 30s is not that old, but I'm talking about like you're like also 40 and up. That's why I tend to emphasize like savings and having investments is crucial. Especially in things like in situations like this. Disabled veteran with a purple heart. Oh God, oh my goodness. Laid off from his job for 10 years. That's tough though. But yeah, that's just what it is though. That's if you're going through that whole job hunting phase, then again, hang in there. I know it's way easier said than done. It's a bitch to it's a bitch to find something. It's really tough. And again, I mean, like for me, I used to work in um I used to work in DNA manufacturing. Now I'm working with I'm working with semiconductors, so a totally different field, but I had to take it anyways. I mean, it pays almost the same as what I